This is the 8BitDo. Probably about 150 different YouTubers have been reviewing these at the minute. Spawnwave, Technotis, ETA Prime. They've all gone on about this 8BitDo Ultimate Controller. Problem is, they're missing some flaws. There's some big flaws with this controller. I found them. I think you should know about them. Essentially, I haven't been sent this. I bought this out of my own money, and I think you have the right to know before you buy an 8BitDo the problems that you may encounter and that I've encountered, and it's not quite the so ultimate as what they say it is. By the way, these just little rubber caps I put on there to protect it, because I look after my controllers. Right, so we're going to get ahead with the unboxing and review, and I'll go into the problems that I found with it, both in software and in hardware, towards the end of the video. I'll put a time links and all that in there, so let's get on with it. See you on the other side. Alright, you beautiful peoples of the interwebs, it's me, Glyn here, with Cheapskate Gaming News Tech Reviews, and I'm going to do a little bit of a technical unboxing and review of something all the YouTubers have got. They've all got one, and I thought I'd buy one, and I had to pay my own money, because I don't get this shit for free. Oh, and it's not exactly what we'd call budget. What is it? It's the 8BitDo. And what's so special about this one? Now, technically this is a Switch controller, but I'm going to be using it on PC, so it's PC compatible. I want a controller from PC because I'm doing a bit more PC gaming, doing a little less console gaming, a bit more PC gaming. I've come to the master race at last, yeah, well, enough about that anyway. So what's so good about this? Well, it wasn't cheap, that's for certain. It cost me 60 quid, 59.99, but apparently it's got what they call them, thumbsticks. I said thumbsticks. It's got thumbsticks that will never drift. Well, I say never. Very, 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 very unlikely to ever drift. They got Hall effect thumbsticks. Thumbsticks. They got Hall effect thumbsticks. So we're going to get on, unbox this. Oh, and by the way, it's not the first controller to have that. First controller is sitting up on there, on my little retro console stand there, and that is the Dreamcast controller. It was one of the first ones to have the Hall effect sticks. So we'll have a look at that next to it. Anyway, let's get on with it. Let's unbox it, and first impressions. Is it as good as they said it is? Because it's cost me 60 quid, and it better fucking had to be. Alright, see you in a bit. Right, so here we are over at the unboxing table. So like I explained before, the first joystick with Hall effect, essentially non-driftable thumbsticks, was one of these. Oh, Dreamcast controller. Why they haven't been putting them in there since? It's probably due down to cost. It's much cheaper to use the old-fashioned, or the ones we're used to that are in your PlayStations, your Xboxes, etc. Anyway, let's get on and get this unboxed. So, dirty old box. Right, let's get that out. Ooh, we just get rid of the box for now. Oh, by the way, did you want to have a look at on the box? There's not much on the box. Just a picture of the controller. It says Windows and Switch. So, right, lovely. All nice cardboard. Not much plastic here, apart from the controller itself. So, first up we have the controller, and inside here, which, let me have a look. It should be a dock. Oh, it's all cardboarded up. This is going well, swimmingly well. Right. We just get rid of these bits and bobs, and at the bottom of the box you've got little instructions and a little USB. Hopefully it's a C cable. Right, that's everything that's in the box. We'll go for the instructions in a minute. Oh, this is what you might notice. This is, so although this was £60, it does come with its own dock. So to me that's a saving of 15 quid. So it's like you've paid £45 for the controller, 15 quid for the dock. So just bear that in mind. But there's also, I do believe it's hidden in here, that's your little USB. Now, I can't remember if this converts it to 2.4 gigahertz. It's Bluetooth, but I think this is the 2.4 gigahertz connector. Gigahertz in there. Now, while it's in the dock, what you can do, a lot of people have never explained this, is plug this in. And there's the first bit of plastic. Plug this into your PC, and essentially then that works as your wireless receiver, which is kind of one of the reasons why I got this. But now you do have to be aware there's two versions of this controller out. While we're talking, we'll get rid of this horrible little plastic bits on here. So there's one of these cheaper version and a more expensive. Now they both come with a dock, and essentially they look exactly the same, but this one's Bluetooth, the more expensive one, but it's also got the Hall effect thumbsticks. But the cheaper one doesn't have Hall effect thumbsticks, so it may be prone to drifting in the future. All right, let's have a little feel, because everyone talks about how good this feels. It feels like it's all right. Good tactile. Buttons feel just like most other controllers, quite small, smaller than PlayStation buttons, quite close together. Could you end up pressing them both by accident? I got quite a big thumb. Feel the triggers. Now some people say these triggers are a bit tough. I don't think they're tough at all. I think they're just right. More importantly, can you get to these ones? LBRB, because anyone knows that if you play first-person shooters, you don't use that as your aim and shoot. Use these as your aim and shoot because it's quicker. Unless you've got trigger stops. Unfortunately, this controller doesn't. But of course, one of the redeeming features of this controller is the extra back buttons, which you can then program to. So for Apex Legends, for instance, on here B would be jump and slide. Jump and slide, so you put jump and slide maybe on here. You can keep your hand on your controller, jump and turn, slide, turn, shoot, and all that wonderful things. But it feels good. Next up then, let's get this all plugged in and connected up to the PC. And again, I'm going to plug this in directly onto the PC. It will be plugged in through the USB-C. It is C, isn't it? Yes, good, it's C, good, and it's got a tactile click. This will go through and I'll hide this wire somewhere. Length of wire, so a bit hard to fit on the camera. 3 foot. 3 foot, 1 foot, 2 foot, 2.5 foot. Something like that. We'll go with 3 foot cable, so it's not a huge length. And like I say, the instructions, multiple language instructions there. So doesn't really need the instructions, but just because you may want to know how to program. There's say it's one of these buttons that uses to program. There's probably a profile button, 3 profiles. At the bottom you've got quite an annoying little switch. I don't like that switch much. They've got 2 options there, I think. 2.4G, which is what we'll be using on the PC, and that must be the Bluetooth. We'll try both. I've got a Bluetooth connector on the PC. Right, so hopefully that's all come out alright. We're going to leave it all there. Right, we've got the hand cam here a little bit. So here it is on its dock. Now what you'll notice is as soon as you put it down, that's a little charging light under there, which is quite nice. It looks like it's come fully charged. And the other thing, now it's plugged in the PC, as soon as I lift this off, see it comes on, I searches, bang, oh, and it gives me a little rumble as well. Quite a nice rumble on it. And that is now connected to the PC already. So literally it's telling me whatever that is, one controller connected. So once this dock basically works as a sort of intelligent controller. So I like that. Again, put it back on. The light comes on. I think that'll turn off after it's finished charging, which won't take long. So yeah, sorry about the dodgy cam, but there it is sitting on this dock. So anyway, next up will be the I've got to try it out now. and let you know what does it feel like. Is it any good? So game we're going to test it on is Apex Legends. Yes, baby. And you can watch me die over and over again. Right, so we're in the Steam version of Apex Legends here. So I haven't got the controller yet. I'm going to pick it up in stock. I've only got the one camera at the minute, so it's just see what happens. So keep your eye on the screen. At the moment, you can see it's on controller. Sorry, at the moment you can see it's on mouse. You can tell by the way I'm wiggling that about. I'm going to pick the controller up. Wait for it. Right, we press what would be. Oh, here we go. And there we go. I think. Yeah, there we go. You can see now that it's converted onto the controller straight away. And instantly I noticed that's better than what I was using. So I was using a PlayStation controller, and if you can see when I'm wiggling that round, when I was using the PlayStation controller, it was kind of going in angles like hectagons and stuff. Still a little bit. Anyway, let's try a game out. It's a bit hard to hold up here. I'll try and adjust the camera so you can see the controller while I'm playing, which will be really tricky because I haven't really got it on a tripod. We won't go into a multiplayer game. We will go just into the firing range. I don't really want to upset people doing a review of a controller while I'm playing. Right, let's just jump in the firing range. I'll probably have to get used to using these back buttons. They are quite nicely placed. Oh, and of course they're not programmed. So we've got to learn how to program them. I guess it's this button, is it? Which button would it be? This one? Let me look at the instructions. Well, I have to say, these instructions are useless. It doesn't say anything about programming the button. Absolutely nothing. We'll work it out in a minute anyway. Right, so we're inside the software now for 8BitDo. So we're going to select Windows. Once you take the controller off, it automatically picks it up. Just go to 8BitDo.com to download them. So we've got mapping, sticks, triggers, macros. Really? So the one button I need to be able to press is P1, P2. Right, so I found a problem with this software already. Can't see the bottom of the screen. I need to get to P2. Just about pick it up there. It's not adjustable. Settings. Right, so I've actually spent some time playing and using this controller now. It's a couple of days later from when I first unboxed it. So I'm going to go through a few of the things that I found. And first of all, we're going to go through the negative things, because there's actually surprisingly a lot more negative problems I've come across than I initially realised there's going to be. So let's start with some of the simple ones. And I don't know if I'll try and show it to the camera, but these are really loose. These LBRB buttons, and if you listen, I might not pick it up on my thing, but they actually rattle. Let me try it again. Can you hear those rattling? It might not pick it up because I've got a noise suppressor on the microphone. But so that's one little thing. That's a small thing, but I have noticed in some review, on an Amazon review, I'll put a little link on here, where somebody shows you he's only had it a few weeks, and the button, this one, starts sticking. Well, if you look very carefully, you notice there's a bit of a gap between them. That's probably what's causing the rattle. Of course, debris and detritus and crap and grease and bits of Cheetos, if you've been eating Cheetos, will go in there. Other brands of crisps aren't available. And of course that will cause that to block up, so that's a problem that needs resolved. And just to compare that with say the PlayStation controller, that doesn't have that problem. They are absolutely solid, they don't wobble, and it doesn't make a noise when you shake it. And the Xbox controller is the same as well. So that's what problem number one. I've had a problem with the software. So, and I've got a solution as well. I tried to look online, I couldn't even find the solution. I noticed other people had the same problem. So when you first, and I'll show you a clip of it as well. When you first load in the software, for me, it scaled the software so big on the screen that I couldn't actually click the buttons I needed to map the buttons. And what it was is because my screen is set up, because I'm getting old now, guys, come on, you know, we all get older. I have it on 200% resolution scaling under my windows. So I like nice big windows, but I can see what I'm doing. Got plenty of real estate here, got plenty of screens. I'm gonna have nice big windows, I like nice big writing. Saves me, if I haven't got my glasses on, I can still see what I'm looking at. So apparently they haven't programmed in on the software, but if you've got a resolution above 200, it basically stretches their software out and you can't even press half the buttons. Now the solution of this was a very simple solution, but I had to work it out myself. Was I had to go in and drop my display setting down to 175%, not 200%. I mean, most people, it probably won't matter. You probably got it lower than I have anyway, but I noticed other people had the problem. There was a Reddit post. I've put the solution on that, but it was a Reddit post from 3 years ago, so it's an ongoing problem, but they've had it for over 3 years with the software. That's not good, guys, come on. So the biggest, baddest, most pain in the ass thing about this controller. Oh, wait there, no, before we get to that, there's one more thing. There's no audio jack on this. There's no 3.5mm audio jack. Big bummer, not for me. I can see it annoying some people. I don't know. Like I say, I don't really use switches, so I don't know if a Switch Pro controller has an audio and headset to go with it. But for PC, I mean, the Xbox controller, you can use the headset. The PlayStation controller, you can use the headset with the PC. So that is a small gripe, but that doesn't really affect my review of it. But this one big problem, let's get onto it. You can't map these back buttons while you're in game, while you're on the go, while you want to use the controller. So imagine this now, well, this is what happened to me. I unboxed the controller, sat there, started to play with it. I was like, right, how do I map this? I've got Apex on, I'm playing it. I'm in, you know, I wasn't actually in a main game, I was just in the arena. I wanted to get the jump and the slide button working, so I was pressing all these buttons, thinking normally you press a button and hold map, you know, like press, that would flash, hold a button, press a button, and it binds. Simple. Oh no, 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 not with this. You have to have the software on your PC or your phone. You've got to go into the software. So you have to pre-know what you want to bind, where you want to bind it. A lot of times, you know, like I've got one of those old strike packs, and I've also got the back button controller on the PlayStation. You just do it in game. You can like swap between it. So you can go like, oh, start Apex, I'll have jump and slide. You can go into a different game and you go, I want to like have pickup item on this button. I'll just bind it to a thing, and you just literally go bang, bang, bang. And next thing you know, no, you can't do it in this controller. If you start playing another game, unless you know what you're going to go play before you go and play it, then load the game, then load the PC, then go into the software, then set a profile. Like, you can have 3 profiles, I'll give it that. You can set up a profile, 1 for one game, 2 for another, and 3 for another, but that's just really such an oversight. Ironically, if you want a turbo function, you just press the button, and it's really simple, intuitive turbo. You press this star button. No, you hold the button that you want to turbo and press the star button. Instantly turbo on, repeat process, turn the turbo off. So they've got that. They've got this turbo button. Why not like have it so if you hold the turbo button down for 2 seconds, it goes into mapping mode? And also then have it so you can map your own macros. Now, to be fair, the software is pretty good. Once I realised I had to descale my screen to read the software, I tried... Oh, there was a problem. Yeah, sorry, there was another problem with the macro software. So I thought, I'll try these macros out just for shits and giggles. So I went into the firing range in Apex and I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll set up a bunny hop macro. So in bunny hopping in Apex Legends, it's basically you jump, you slide, you jump again, slide, jump, slide. Simple thing. You have a little bit of time between them. There's a certain timing you need to do the jump slide macro. So I started programming it, and it's really intuitive. I thought, oh, that's not too bad. You know, click here, click there, click here. And you can change the amount of time between each button press as well. You can add like half a second or third of a second or even 2 seconds. So I programmed in a simple jump slide macro. So I went into Apex. Now, bearing in mind that one of the jumps, the slide was about 1 second, 1.5 seconds, and then jump again. When you press that macro button, you can't press anything else on the controller. So it basically locks you out of the controller until it's finished the macro. So if you put in about a 2 or 3 second macro, that's it. Once you've pressed that macro button, you can't do anything. You can't shoot. So say like you had it in the game and the enemies were coming towards you and you think, oh, I need to come out of this macro. I need to start shooting and aiming. You can't do that once the macro. Now, it'll be fine for things like fighting games where you just want a quick button press combination. Press the button and it presses AX, AX, X, Y, Y, and it'll do it in less than half a second, fine. But when you want to start thinking about putting a longer macro in, no, it's useless. The macros are pretty much useless because once they start, once you've triggered them, they essentially lock you out from pressing any other button, and this will flash. The middle thing here will flash while the macro is going on, and until that stops flashing, you won't be able to press any other button or any. Well, you'll be able to press the button, but it won't do anything to your character on screen. So I just want to point that out as well. So there's about 4 or 5 big problems that I've come across with the 8BitDo, and why have these other paid YouTubers not talking about it? They've all been sent 2 copies of these controllers. They've all been sent them early. They all say they've tried these controllers. Why is it just little old me who spends his own money with a shitty little YouTube channel like mine that can actually find these problems out? It's disgrace, guys. It's an absolute disgrace why they get to plug stuff without actually, or reviewing and plugging stuff without actually going through the due process of saying, oh, you know, let's go about it in a clinical fashion. I hate it. I absolutely hate it because this wasn't a cheap purchase for me. I've had to go out, buy money, and I thought, oh, according to all these YouTubers, this is like the greatest thing. This is the dog's nuts of controllers. Well, it's a good controller, but it's not the ultimate, and it's certainly not pro. I'm a little bit disappointed, to be honest. Buyer's regret. And it's a shame, really, because there's a lot of good things that I do like about the controller. So let's try and switch it around and go with the positives. I think the biggest positive for me, let me just grab it and unplug it here. I'll try to unplug it. Was this, the dock. This dock is fantastic. I'll give them... Oh, this is the best charging dock I've ever used, and I'll tell you why. So obviously it's not plugged in now, but when you finish gaming and you put the controller on your dock, right? It switches the controller off, and the PC recognises it straight away. No messing. You put it on, bang, the PC's go, it makes a little noise, beep beep, and basically it knows it's done. It then starts charging. Okay, you say, what's so great about that? It's when you come to take it off again. You don't do anything. You literally take that off there. You don't press any buttons, anything. Your PC instantly knows, bing, bing, your controller is now connected to your PC. Now, of course, this is hardwired. You leave this bit in it, so you don't even lose it. This is the, sorry, it's blowing out a bit. Let me turn it that way. Leave that plugged in, and then just USB to USB, USB-C to USB-A, which the lead comes with it on your PC. It comes with a 3-foot cable, so you can put this on. I've got it on my desk just down here. And just the simplicity of when I want to just grab a controller, start playing a game, when I finish, put it back on without having to plug things in, without having to press buttons, without having to turn it off or hold a button for 5 seconds like I have to do on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox controllers. I'm going to hold it, It's like my life's wasting away here holding this button just to turn this fucking controller off. No, that is the dog's bollocks. Simplicity of use. Great. Fantastic. 10 out of 10 on that fact. The ease of use is brilliant on that part of it. Being able to pick it up, use it, put it back. Love it. Absolutely love it. Can't say how much I enjoyed that experience. The controller itself, lovely feel. Like I know a lot of people have said, oh, they don't like this grippy stuff at the back. It's rough on my hands. Well, I'm a man's man. I've done a bit of man's work. We got rough hands, and I'm not a builder by any trade of it, but no, it's nice. It's the same as what the Xbox Series X controller is. Fits in your hand nice, doesn't slip out. Great. And then what are you doing to a controller if that's rubbing you all the time? Like, what are you doing that for? Are you pleasuring yourself with the fucking thing or what? No, it's good. It's good. The feel of it is good. Apart from these LBRB, the rest of it, the triggers, the analog sticks, good. The buttons are a little bit small, but they're okay. I noticed stretching over in Apex, you've got to get over to here to enter, like when you're basically robbing people's boxes. It's just muscle memory, but it's a little bit further than I like, and you do end up hitting the I'll just show as you're going across to press it, you can touch there. So I would have preferred if that was a little bit further. There's a couple of things that if I was to redesign this for them, I'd make the buttons 1mm wider, radius, diameter 1mm, more than enough. I'd move these 3 buttons out wider, and of course I'd put a mapping button on here. The D-pad, the little digital D-pad, fine. Had a quick go on a couple of games, played a couple of 8-bit stuff. Great, fine. The back buttons, very nice, very nice. They've done a good job of them. Tactile enough, clear. So if you can get past the part where, say you're only going to use it for 1 or 2 games, you know what the games are, you know what the buttons are that you want to map, and you're quite happy, but you know that when you get it, you've got to put it on your PC, map the buttons, and you're done with it. It's pretty much what I'm going to be doing is done with it, but I can see eventually another game's going to come out and I have to go into the software thing. If you don't care about that, then this is fine. Just remember to, when you get it, there's no mapping button on the actual controller. You're going to have to do it through the software. The software is fairly self-explanatory apart from that issue I had. Make sure that your display resolution scaling is below 200% and you won't have a problem. You'll be like, oh, what was this idiot on YouTube talking about? But then that's why I'm here. I've found the problems. There is a solution because there's not much written up about it. So apart from that, I don't really rate controllers out of 10, but like I say, the Xbox Series X controller, that's a 9 out of 10. The PlayStation 5 controller, that's a 9.5 out of 10. Probably one of my favourites, missing the back buttons and all that. Of course, they're both on sale on Amazon at the minute, 35-40 quid. What would I rate this? I'm going to give it a 7. 7 out of 10. There are... It's funny, they've gone 90% of the way over the Atlantic, and it's like they've turned around and come back and they thought, oh, we're not going to do 100%, we're not going to, it's supposed to be the ultimate controller, and yet they've fallen short of actually making it ultimate controller. The rattly LBRB I mean, surely someone must have looked at it and thought, well, they're a bit rattly, but obviously they didn't. And someone must have thought, well, how do you map these buttons? Oh, you've got to use the software we've been using for 3 years that we haven't updated, but doesn't scale with people's monitors. So address that, address the mapping button. I'm not even sure if they could put an update to update this to add a press and hold for a mapping button. Maybe they could. If they could do that, it definitely get higher. I'd probably give it a 9. Actually, I'm probably being a bit mean, a 7.5 and all that. I'd give it 8. It's an 8 out of 10. But obviously, if I had a remap button and slightly higher quality LBRB buttons, that would be a 9.5 out of 10. Anyway, so this has been the 8BitDo, the true, honest review. No, I wasn't sent this. No, I paid for it myself. And 2, I'm not going to shill by saying, oh, welcome to my channel, and first a message from my sponsor, because I ain't got no sponsors. I'm not even monetized, so I have no pennies to gain by giving you this grift on this controller. So try not to think too negative. If you are after a PC controller, you can get this, but I have got a new piece of equipment coming. Basically, it's a new strike pack that will go into an Xbox controller. I was looking today, a white Xbox Series X controller, 35 quid, and I've paid about 30 quid for this new piece that's coming from eBay. Will it be any good or not? A lot of people say it's really good, so that would have been 60 quid, 65 quid for 4 buttons, Mac buttons, on an existing good quality 9 out of 10 controller. But that's in a future review, hopefully. Coming soon. Anyway, I've been Glyn. This has been Cheapskate Gaming News Tech Reviews, and I hope you enjoyed my rant and rave about the 8BitDo. See you later.